But looking back, seeing where I'm at now, none of those people are in my life anymore. I have definitely learned that you cannot depend on other people. You cannot. I mean, the amount of friends who I have just been so close with and you talk to all the time and everything, they are so quick to switch up on you. I don't even know how else to say it. But seriously, they're just so quick to just... I mean, I'm guilty of it too, because if I'm receiving too much negativity, if I feel like they think they're doing me the favor by talking to me, anything like that, I cut them off. Because I've learned nothing's worth it. It's not. And what's funny is those people always seem to think that they were the ones going out of their way for me, and that they were being the good friend to me, and that I was the one that wasn't. Get into that separately. It is important to know that you don't need anyone else to validate what you're going through. You don't need anyone else to validate your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. You don't need anyone to validate any of it. No one but yourself. I feel that it's important to point out that you might in that moment feel like you wouldn't get through if it wasn't for these people surrounding you, but it's not true at all. I just want to let you know, it's you that's getting you through. It's you. You are responsible for your success in choosing life. You are responsible for every day dealing with your anxiety, dealing with your depression. If you do have suicidal thoughts, who's the one that's dealing with all that? And who's the one that's fighting through it every day? Who's the one that's choosing to live, to keep going, and to fight through? It's not your friends. It's you. That's why I think it's so important to explain, because you might feel like these people are who are getting you through. And I don't want to sound negative at all. I don't want to come off like I'm... Don't think that I'm trying to be negative about this. I just need anyone who's going through what I was to hear this, because I needed to hear it. It took me a very long time to learn on my own. It's hard to hear, but the reality is the people that we think we have forever on our side, forever in our corner, so to speak, a lot of times they might not make it to your next chapter in life. They might be around for 2-3 more chapters, but they might not make it to the end chapter. I need you to know that it's okay if they don't, because the person who did get you through the whole time was you. It was not them. No matter what they said, no matter what they did, yeah, a support system is extremely helpful. Don't get me wrong there. But I think it's just really important to understand, to realize it's all you that's fighting this battle, and it's you that's getting through it. It wasn't them. It has nothing to do with them. And I just think it's so important to realize it's you that's getting through this. This is not my way of saying don't be friends with people, cut everyone off. That's not what I'm saying at all. Don't get me wrong. I just know that when you feel like there's this certain support system, whether it's a group of friends, one specific friend, whatever it is, if you feel like they are the ones who are seriously getting you through, and this is also narcissistic behavior, just if you have a narcissist as a friend, chances are they're going to actually make you feel like they are the ones who got you through. It might not even be you necessarily being convinced that they are responsible for getting you through. They might have it in your mind that they're the ones that got you through. The other thing that happened to me was not understanding what a narcissist was at the time. And I've had people convince me, you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for me. I now know that is complete... You already know. You already know. For a long time, I believed them. So there are people that are going to make you feel like they are responsible for getting you through. And they really might even tell you that you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for them. They might have you completely convinced that they are the ones that got you through. It took me so long so long to understand that wasn't true at all. It took me so long to understand that if they were no longer in my life, it's okay, because I'm the one that's fighting through, not them. I've actually had friends make me feel completely guilty for venting to them, especially if it was a repetitive subject. If you know me, you already know what I'm talking about. Don't even have to say it. I constantly will say, though, I'm so sorry to be saying this for the billionth time, but it's really bothering me, and I expect them to be the friend and listen to me just like I do for them. However, that's not always how it goes, not always the reality, and these people will tend to make you feel guilty for venting about whatever it is that you're venting about, especially if it's something that comes up quite often. I just need everyone who's going through it to know that it's no one who's getting you through. They are definitely helping you if you have a support system, if you have friends. Of course, it's better to have people around you, but they're not the ones who are responsible for getting you through. That's the most important thing to understand. That yes, it's great to have the support system. It's great to have people care about you and support you and listen to you, but you don't need them in your life. So when it gets to the point, I know it has for just about everyone I've ever been friends with, if it ever gets to the point where they're telling you, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, how are you gonna deal with life without me? Who's gonna listen to you talk about this, especially when it's talked about a lot? Who else is going to deal with you? Who else is going to put up with you? When I would be told these types of things at the end of friendships, I used to let it send me into a complete state of depression. It was so bad, and that made me feel even more like I needed to just stay quiet, that I needed to not vent about things, that I needed to just basically become a mute almost, is how it felt every single time. So it's sad that I've always been called shy and quiet and awkward, all these things. I'm very awkward. I'm very awkward. But I'm not really shy. I'm not really quiet. I'm actually, like, I will talk about absolutely anything that you want to talk about. I am putting myself out there about my mental health issues, mental illness. The truth about a person and their true colors always come out at the end of whatever relationship. If it's a friendship, whatever it is, their true colors always come out at the end of it. You can't repaint those pictures that they paint for you. You can't. You can't feel like something is wrong with you because of the things that they say, because they're just trying to hurt you. They're using what they know bothers you against you. That is important to understand and realize, because when you have these friendships, you get close to them, you tend to talk about things that bother you. You vent about things. Of course, that's what friendship is, right? It is, or it was, because then once you get to the end of the friendship, what happens? They're going to attack you with what they know bothers you. It's hard not to take it personal, because they already know what bothers you the most. So of course when they say it, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna bother you. And if you're like me, it's gonna make you feel like you have to stop talking in general, basically, and just become so quiet and everything. So again, I want to just kind of point out that I'm not trying to ruin any friendships or end any friendships, anything like that, but I have just always had this same pattern with friends, like forever. But again, I'm not discouraging friendships or anything like that. I just want you to understand that no matter how this friendship turns out, it's okay if you do end up losing them. I know it sucks, but I just want you to understand that it is okay if that does happen, because They are not the ones who got you through. It was all you. Just remember that, because I know that makes it more depressing and more difficult when you feel like, okay, this person is who got me through all of the worst of everything I've been through, so what am I supposed to do now that they're gone? And you're just going to continue what you've been doing because they weren't the ones who were dealing with it, you were. This just really goes back to a reason why I think it's so important to be able to vent to yourself, to take your own advice. I think it's perfectly fine to become your own friend. They always, like when people get upset with their friends or lose a friend or whatever, they'll be like, it's just me, myself, and I now. It really always was and always will be you, yourself, and I. You. I feel like it sounds so depressing to say it, and I swear I don't mean it that way, because again, it really seriously helped me so much once I realized that at the end of every day, I am the only one who I can depend on. I am the only one that I am guaranteed to have at the end of the day. It is so important to be your own friend, not your own enemy, especially your own worst enemy, and that's how I was for a really long time. But I did come to terms with being stuck with myself. It really is helpful to become your own friend, and especially to stop being your own worst enemy, and to realize it's okay to give yourself the advice that you need to hear.